Alright, welcome. We have our AD, attack damage melee. Here's the build page. Let's see, our core build is going to start out with, every single build in this page is going to start out with the decision to follow the core build. Obviously, that's why you're on the team, that's why you made it. You're here. You're on team AoE/team lifesteal. And your build is attack damage melee is going to be, we're going to be using these three items: the Bloodthirster, Phantom Dancer, and Ravenous Hydra. Your fourth item is always going to be one of these two, especially if you're laning. Also, if you're jungling, you'll use either Blade of the Ruined King or Static Shiv. And you always want to start with your first four items, no matter who you're countering. Even though this team does save our last three items for countering opponents, that's how we have this set up. We have a core item build that works with everyone. It's unique. And then when we need to counter people, we have those last three items ready to go. But having those first four items being, it's going to make you a lot stronger. So try your best to only do, I'm going to show you everything here, okay, especially if it's your first time and you don't really do lifesteal that often. You don't like to do AoE, so much. That's okay. That's why I'm going to show you, just in case. But as soon as you start to get more feel for it, you start to get a little bit better. You want to end up these four items first, okay? And then take your counters from there. Alright, let's start out. We're going to check out attack damage jungle as melee first. I want to show you the melee, the jungle version, and then also the lane version. It's very cool. So we're going to use the attack speed jungle item here. Doesn't matter what enchantment you want to use. I like to use the Chilling Smite. That's why it's Blood Razor enchantment, whatever. It looks like this. Then we need our core items, our high damage and highest lifesteal. It's going to be the Bloodthirster second. And we need on this team, by our third item, we want everyone to buy their AoE item if possible. The only one who's not required or that we ask very nicely is our ability power melee. So let's finish off our Ravenous Hydra and move on to Phantom Dancer, right to Infinity Edge, and straight to Blade of the Ruined King. You, of course, could swap your Phantom Dancer with your Blade of the Ruined King here. The core idea is that we want to have 3 attack speed items and 3 attack damage items. And generally speaking, we're going to have attack damage first, attack speed second, attack damage third, attack speed fourth, attack damage fifth, attack speed sixth with everyone on the team. So here's a few variations of that. We don't have Infinity Edge here. We have Death Dance instead. And that's pretty much the full build. You can always swap your position again of Phantom Dancer and Blade of the Ruined King as you see fit. Here's another version. No, this is not. This is the final build. So as soon as we get to these first 6 starter items, these are cheap, best purchase, maximum item numbers. Okay, statistically, very great for using together with a build, with the team, I mean. So we're going to move into the final build with a melee. We use this one with Infinity Edge, so we're going to keep, obviously, the Phantom Dancer. We need that critical strike nowadays to make Infinity Edge do its double damage, or its critical strike double, whatever it is. So we're going to need that Phantom Dancer for this build, which kind of does take away from having that 5th item here being Blade of the Ruined King, which is a lifesteal item. So you're not going to be as tanky as normal. You could always swap the Essence Reaver for Blade of the Ruined King. I'm sure that I'll show you a few different variations of that. But a great idea also would be you don't really need that Essence Reaver, put that Blade of the Ruined King in. We're 2 items of attack speed here. We're very great final build. With Infinity Edge, of course. But if we want to go a little bit more heavy, that's of course, what I was just saying. Death Dance, no Essence Reaver. Oftentimes you don't really need that mana or that. But sometimes, obviously sometimes you'll need it, the mana and the cooldown from Essence Reaver. But here's just a few more variations of the final build that we can put together. And play as a team here. This Mercurial Scimitar, obviously, and this one's the last one. It's the Hextech Gunblade. Here's a good variation. So generally, all these items are the ones that we want to be, revolving around as our final items. And as you can see with these 2 builds, we don't have Infinity Edge. And also, there would be a very tough build to. Okay, that's it. Now let's move into attack damage as the lane. This is going to be your starter build, your first 6 items, okay? Your first 6 items, very straightforward. Bloodthirster, Phantom Dancer, Ravenous Hydra. That's your... By your third item, everyone on the team should have their AoE. Now we can all group together. We all have attack speed, the highest damage, the highest 2 damage items in the game, everyone, for their role, for their class, with the highest attack speed by the third item. I mean, that's when we can group up and really end the game early. which is a great moment. Oh, and if we finish with, Blade of the Rune King, you can always swap here. You can choose, man, you know what? Why don't I go Static Shiv? I'm way far ahead, They won't even see me by the time I get my Blade of the Rune King 6th. So you can always swap these 2 items, and also consider Ginsu's Rage Blade. Not always the best, but it does work very, very well. Especially if you want to swap it with Static Shiv, I would be all for that. That's a very, very strong build here. So, think outside the box, but keep it. Don't break the meta. Let's be specific. Let's be smart about it. So now we have, again, our core build: Bloodthirster, Phantom Dancer, Ravenous Hydra, and this is for laning countering. But before I get into this, remember, once we finish these 6 items as lane start, okay, whatever our counter page, whatever we happen to be doing, okay, we're going to end up selling items to go into a final build. So we'll sell. Let's say that we just bought Static Shiv. Well, the first thing that we're going to do is, once we rack up enough gold with that stunt, that trick, having so much attack speed with this Static Shiv, okay, that's going to be really fast. We're going to come back to base faster than anybody, and we're going to sell this Static Shiv and buy Death's Dance. Next thing we're going to do is sell that Phantom Dancer and buy Essence Reaver, okay, and then, or keep it because we're using Infinity Edge build. All right, there's builds without Infinity Edge. Of course, you saw those before. I'm not going to go over these final builds again. So just also keep in mind, when we happen to do any of these counter builds, we're also going to, at the end, to finalize this counter. This is just the first straight 6 counter build to breach us, to get us to gateway into that final build. So this is really going to be best against. You want to look at what do 3 or more of my opponents have, and then choose the counter build from there. So we're going to use that core build, okay, and just like I said before, we want to always consider trying to get that 4th item, that's really important. Our Blade of the Rune King or Static Shiv, as you can see here as well, okay. We really want to consider getting those 4 items first, and then skipping one of these lethality items, okay, just to get straight into our final build a little bit faster. You're going to be a lot stronger if you do it that way. But it's very successful, okay, when we build it like this. If it's your first time, you've never really done this so often, okay, let's put it together by finishing your core build with Lord Dominic's Regards, the Black Cleaver, and the Just Blade of Drekthar. Alright, that'll be really great. You'll have a ton of penetration. Anybody with armor on that team, considering there's 3 of them, they're going to have a great time playing against you. Here's another variation, okay. We want you to go these 4 items first and say, why don't I skip the Blade of Drekthar, because 24% armor, reduction with our Black Cleaver is going to be higher than 21 lethality. Or, just, say the other way, okay. But, however you want to play it. Even if you get rid of the Black Cleaver and you keep the Blade of Drekthar and the more reminder, okay. And I think I would actually do the other one, Lord Dominic's Regards. But this is just another. Yeah, there's another variation. This would be someone with armor and a little bit of max health or health regeneration. You would consider more a reminder more instead of Lord Dominic's. Otherwise, if there's just straight armor, okay, just swap that. Okay, but there we go. Let's move on. 4 more opponents with max health. Generally, the standard start build is going to be the best versus opinion versus anyone with max health. But if you see it early, you know it's coming. Why don't you grab this mortal reminder just to, it's really going to take them down with that grievous wounds. Anyone with max health is really going to have a tough time with that, and Blade of the Rune King specifically. So that's definitely your biggest counter item. But this mortal reminder is a little bit cheaper, considering the build-wise. So these last 3 items are really up to you. I would really advise finishing with Infinity Edge rather than building it 4th or 5th. But you got to feel that out. So let's move on now. If 3 more of our opponents are really going heavy with that ability power, this build's going to be great. We're going to start our core build, and we're going to finish it off with a Maul of Malmortis. This is going to be perfect for taking anybody down that has 3 opponents that have ability power. Now, keep in mind, I'm not saying magic penetration. It's just with ability power. If they have magic penetration, whoa, go back to the main build. Okay, and just keep it up. That's all I have. That's all I got for you. Let's get Mercurial Scimitar next. It's going to give you that bonus magic resist and that lifesteal, which is going to make you super vicious. Okay, and your attack damage melee. There are a lot of great attack damage melee champions who do have a great spell that deals damage with ability power, that scales with ability power. So, does your attack damage melee champion deal one of your spells damage, higher damage, with ability power scaling? Well, let's get hashtag Gunblade. If you really have all of your spells that scale with attack damage, and you are attack damage melee, let's get Death's Dance. But we want to have this where somebody with ability power is going to be tougher for just lifesteal and just auto attacks for you to survive and win just by having lifesteal with your attacks. So now that we have spell vamp, or lifesteal with our spells, okay, Hextech Gunblade and Death's Dance will really help against those ability power opponents, which they never suspect about to happen. And I would love to see their face. They'll have a great time playing against you when you do that. All right, now we have specifically against people, 3 or more opponents who have lifesteal. Get it early, okay? Finish your core build off as soon as possible. This is going to be fight to the death. Get that mortal reminder. You can finish this any way you want, but generally speaking, a lot of people who don't know a lot of people who are good at lifesteal, you can, it'd be wise to get Blade of the Ruined King and Infinity Edge. Otherwise, that's what we got for you. And always remember, your best 2 penetrations in the game are really just going to be Blade of the Ruined King and Infinity Edge. So how can we, rather than worrying about actual lethality, we always think about ways to, build those 2 items. Make a build around those 2 items that are not specifically, say the statistics lethality. Also, I forgot to do this in the last video. Please don't hate me. But what we're going to do here is I want to show you the runes. Alright, as you can see, I have 12 rune pages available. I only use 2. ADC Lifesteal, this is the one. I'm not going to go to this rune page. I just want everyone to see what my runes are. Okay, this rune page specifically works with this exact item build. Very, very stack. In a way that stacks the stats. I'm going to have to tell everyone, please come check out that rune page. I'll show it again just for the heck of it. Okay, Fleet Footwork, Overheal, Legend Alacrity. Alright, why this? Because we don't have... We buy, as attack damage, we buy a ton of lifesteal. So we don't need the Legend lifesteal. We don't necessarily buy, especially in the endgame build, we don't have that much attack speed. So we're going to get what we don't necessarily have to really make us unique and well-rounded in the end. The Last Stand, I mean, everything just kind of... Check it out, have fun with it, that's the one. Give it a shot first and then make your own variation of it after. Alright guys, that was attack damage melee, a little bit longer. I'll see you guys soon in the next one.